Hey, this is Dylan Waller.
This is Seth Barham.
And you're listening to Bandwidth.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to Bandwidth, the voice of Amplifier. This is episode 2. Today in the studio we have Seth Barham and Dylan Waller, two very old friends of mine that I went to high school with. They have been living abroad for quite some time. Seth himself has been writing for Amplifier for some time about what it's like being a Westerner in China. All sorts of funny stories. You can check it out on the website. He also runs a blog called Spartan Wanderer. Dylan also took the same route of studying abroad, but ended up taking a liking to it even more and has been over there working and has been throughout Asia thoroughly, a true adventurer. He currently resides in Vietnam where he does market analysis and works independently. Both incredibly inspiring people, and we picked their brains a little bit while they were in town about just basically what it's like to be a Westerner over in Asia.
Yeah, man. Seth and Dylan are great guys, and it was amazing to listen to what they had to say about everything, like you said, from the culture to the police state to food, drugs, and more. It was really, really interesting, and I think everyone's going to enjoy what they got to say.
Yeah, it was a good hip perspective, you know. Like,
definitely.
It was from a somewhat of a party generation.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Going over there, but they're strictly business.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt. And that will be coming up in just a little bit, guys. But first, let me tell you about Current. Current, of course, here on Bandwidth is a segment of all things going on in NC. So here's a list of some shows and happenings that us at Amplifier are kind of stoked about. Maybe you should be as well. October 21st, Caleb Caudle is going to be at the Arts Center. October 29th, Danny Brown is going to be at Cat's Cradle. October 29th, Touche Amore at the Throne Theater in Wilmington. And November 6th at Cat's Cradle, starting at 12 p.m., is going to be the Stand Against HB2, North Carolina Musicians United for Equality NC and Chords. All the proceeds, of course, are going to be going to Equality NC to help their fight against the harmful and hateful law. Acts include The Love Language, Foxture, Olsen Twins, Brett Harris, and more.
On November 8th, we have Andrew W.K. at the Arts Center. It'll be a party, so I heard. He seems to have some kind of reputation about partying. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, I'm curious.
On November 10th, we have Ted Leo at the Pinhook. And then November 12th, the Dillinger Escape Plan, Oh Brother, and Cult Leader at the Throne Theater in Wilmington. You won't want to miss that because Dillinger's about to break up, and it's going to be super intense, I'm sure. On November 14th, Deaf Heaven and Carcass at the Throne Theater in Wilmington. Also playing the next day in Asheville at the Orange Peel. Don't miss that either because it's Carcass. I mean, come on. And then on November 17th, we have Wild Nothing and Small Black at the Orange Peel. And then to finish off November, on the 30th, is Red Fang and Torch at Motorco. Up next, we got Eric Ginsburg's Monthly News in 30 seconds.
I'm Eric Ginsburg from Triad City Beat, and this is your monthly news in 30 seconds. Hurricane Matthew pummeled much of eastern North Carolina earlier this month, but many communities are still struggling to deal with the aftermath. Somebody firebombed the Republican Party headquarters in Hillsborough. Nobody was injured in the politically motivated attack, which comes just weeks before Election Day. Early voting is now underway in North Carolina, and it runs until November 5th. The presidential race and many others will be incredibly close, so read up and turn out. And the Carolina Panthers continue to suck, losing 5 of their first 6 games this season despite going to the Super Bowl last year. This has been your monthly news in 30 seconds. I'm Eric Ginsburg for Triad City Beat. Now back to Alec and Daryl.
Thank you very much, Eric.
And now it's on to Static, guys. Static, if you remember, even if you don't, I'm going to read it anyway and tell you about it. Static's our segment here on Bandwidth where we read approved advertisement submissions in exchange for donations that are sent to Chords. What's Chords? Well, Chords stands for Queer-Oriented Radical Days of Summer and is a week-long overnight summer camp for queer and trans youth or youth of LGBTQ families and has a special focus on youth in the South. Why do we choose to send our donations to Chords? Well, Amplifier finds creativity, empowerment, leadership, and confidence as some of the most important traits one should hold, and we're proud to support Chords on their adventure.
And in such a hostile state that is NC with HB2 being passed, it's very important to nurture their journey to express their gender and sexuality and to create an environment of self-expression for them. For more information, you can visit www.qords.org. If you wish to submit an advertisement, you can email us at bandwidth@amplifiergso.com. It'll be a simple advertisement promoting an event, product, business, band, or any kind of art that you do. If approved, it'll be read on the air during the next episode, and you'll be sent a PayPal link to submit the donation. If not approved, we'll be sending you more information on submitting a new pitch. Minimum donations vary between $5 to $10. And if you want to reach us in general, you can, of course, check out our website, amplifiergso.com. You can hit us up on Facebook at Amplifier Zine. Both our Instagram and Twitter are AmplifierGSO. And if you know of any local stuff going on that you want us to check out, you can use the hashtag BandwidthGSO, and we'll try to check it out. Up next is our interview with Seth and Dylan to get a little bit of international insight. Thank you for listening this far, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys. Enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 interview for Bandwidth. Today in the studio we have Seth Barham and Dylan Waller. Both of them grew up in Reidsville, North Carolina. We all went to high school together. It was good times.
Roaring times in
Roaring
Rockham
times.
County.
But since then, they have gone all across the world as what I would consider international entrepreneurs with great accomplishments. Seth himself working currently as a teacher in Daqing, China, and as working at a graphic design startup as well. And Dylan, who's just gotten back from Vietnam as an economic and financial researcher from Ho Chi Minh City, current-day Saigon in Vietnam.
Guys, so since the travel obviously is a big part of what you beautiful gentlemen do, Seth, let's start with you, man. Like, take us from the first moment you decided you wanted to go somewhere else and how that was, and lead it up to where you've been and sitting now here in this little podcast office with us.
All right. So I went to school at App State, like Dylan, and I was a graphic design major. And I had like an extra semester where, you know, I could have graduated maybe a semester early if I really wanted to, and I decided to use that to just study abroad instead. And I only had like maybe 2 credits I needed to actually get, so it was a very relaxing time. And I chose to go to Sweden first because as a graphic designer, I like, you know, the sort of simplicity they have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much everything they do, like, you know, IKEA is one of the big ones, but, you know, also they've got a lot of famous designers there, and I thought, you know, it would be cool to just be surrounded by that. So I really wanted to go just to party pretty much, but I thought being surrounded by that at the same time would probably benefit me in some way. So it was kind of a random choice to go there, but that's where I started out. So I spent 6 months in Lund, Sweden. And from there, I met a really cool guy that lives in Iceland. He was studying the same major with me, and he invited me to come to his house for Christmas in Iceland. So I went there. It's called the Westman Islands. It's like a really small place off of mainland Iceland, and it was just like a brutal fucking winter there, man. I would not want to live there, but like we went hiking during that time, like ice climbing and stuff, and I thought that I really liked Iceland, and so I found a way to go back there after I graduated. So I did like conservation work for about 3 months. Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
Building like hiking trails and stuff there.
Oh yeah.
So that was sort of the next spots, and we had 2 teams, and our team had like 5 people. They were international teams, so, you know, me from America, there was a guy from Hong Kong, a girl from England, a guy from Germany, and a guy from Scotland, I think. And the girl is my girlfriend now. We met there.
Oh, my.
Yeah, we met in Iceland, and so once we left there, that was sort of the next step.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to find a way to live together? And through talking to this guy right here who was teaching at the time. I would probably credit you with my decision to teach. So me and my girlfriend decided we're going to teach in China as a way to be together. Mm-hmm. So we moved to China, and so that's how I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you been in the same place in China?
Yeah.
Concentrated?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been at the same gig, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, all 3 years in China, Daching.
God.
Yeah.
Stories from Daching.
Dylan, same question to you, sir.
Okay.
Spill the beans.
Yeah,
so,
tell us.
I also studied abroad at App. So it was my sophomore year. I was kind of restless in college. And I got this email saying they were giving out grants to go study in India. This $4,000 grant. It was a new program, and I was just bored, so I just went for it. It was that September, and then
just bored.
By December and January, I was flying to India to study in a university in Bangalore as a part of a new exchange program they were doing. And then after I got back, I wanted to drop out of college and go back, but anyway, I just took a lot of classes, like as maximum amount, and graduated a semester early. Worked a lot, saved up. I really wanted to go back to India, so I went back there, did some volunteer work for a school, orphanage, doing microfinance. At that time, I was like sucked into India and wanting to stay, but they had this weird visa restriction where you have to leave the country for 2 months. So I left after I'd been there for 5 months, and I knew I wanted to stay in Asia, so I was looking at teaching because I knew whatever happened, if I ran out of money, I could find a good teaching job. So
you can always find a teaching job.
Easy, yeah. As long as you have a pulse, yeah. So did that, and then I actually ended up teaching English for about 2 years after that, just because it's an easy way to save up, travel. I wanted to see different countries, so I went to China, Thailand, Mongolia, and kind of traveled around. And
you were teaching at that point?
Teaching, yeah, in all those countries, yeah. And it's been about 3 or 4 years now. I decided I don't want to teach English forever, and so I've been branching out into the economic and financial research. So I started out doing sales for a local company in Vietnam, and then after that quit and started posting articles for a U.S. company called Seeking Alpha, and then doing research for a geopolitical consultancy called Wikistrat. And then after that, I've been writing for a startup company in Singapore, doing financial and economic research for Vietnam and Pakistan. So for me, it kind of started with the study abroad. I wanted to get back, and now I kind of want to be based in Asia forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap. Well, I guess we need to move on to the personal questions between you two now.
You think they're ready?
I hope they're ready.
I'm looking at
them.
I'm not sure. Yeah, they're not sweating yet, so I feel let's bring it on to them.
So we'll talk to you, Dylan, first. You've been to a lot of places, to say the least. I guess first thing I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask the same thing to you, Seth, is you have family living all over the world, Dylan.
Yeah.
You know, your brother is in Australia, your sister's in Australia as well. Like, I mean, there's just traveling in your family. Is that an interesting dynamic with your family as far as traveling? Did that help your decision in traveling?
Our family, since we grew up in Reidsville, they wanted to make sure that we got out, saw different things, and they didn't want us to grow up in Reidsville forever. So they took us traveling, some family vacations to Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, and then they didn't realize the impact that would have on us. It kind of gave us like this adventure. So my brother started out with Australia at the time. He was already there. And for me, when I first wanted to go to India, it was a little hard for them, but every year it kind of got easier. I stay away for a year and come back, and then now I've been gone for 2 years, and for them it feels normal. It also made it, my sister's younger than me, and when she wanted to leave, it was just easier because my family just accepted this is how our family works. My brother got married in Australia a couple years ago, has 2 kids, so it runs in our family. Yeah.
So your brother is
kind of normal now.
Yeah, he's made
it. He's there. Yeah.
Now, is he considered a citizen over there now?
He just has residency.
Okay, he's just residency. Okay.
You emotionally, like, you know, you guys have been doing this a minute, both of you, but just talking to you a sec for again, Dawn. Has it gotten easier when you fall into something, you've been doing it for a minute, but I mean, of course, there's always new things to explore and whatnot. When you first started traveling and everything, how was it emotionally with everything, like friends, family, everything going on in your head, being around a bunch of people you don't know? Can I communicate with them? Am I going to get robbed? Am I going to be left or dead here? Am I going to make a family? Like, how was it for you to like go through all those emotional things?
You first go, you have this rush, so it's feel like you can put up with anything. It's so adventurous. And then one thing my professor said about Asia, it's the hardest country to live in, but the people make it easy because they're so friendly. So that helped me stick it out. And then there's a point where you kind of get sucked in and love everything. Then there's a point where you can get ruts abroad too. After a couple of years, you feel like you're just doing the same thing in another country, kind of wasting away. So you have to find new energy. And then at some points, it's like I move around so much. I just want to I want to be based in Vietnam. Like traveling, moving to a new country, like that doesn't even seem. I don't have the energy for it anymore.
It's a lot of work.
Face. Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
So like psychologically, it can wear on you. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Psychologically,
we're getting old, man.
Yeah.
Seth, you are an English teacher in Daqing, China. I remember reading your editorial for the traditional Chinese massage torture. That was the first thing that ever, where I was told about you, and I was like, I gotta read this article. Can you talk about that for a little bit of how what that is besides a great song title?
And it'd be important to note at this point that Seth runs a blog for his travels in China. Definitely. If you want to go and plug that really quick.
Yeah, so I've been writing this blog. It's called Spartan Wonder for maybe, it's like close to 4 years now, maybe. I started it when I went to Sweden, and it's mostly about travel and also like minimalism, like living a sort of a simpler lifestyle, not having too many things, like sort of just owning only what you need. And I found that to be sort of conducive to traveling because it's a lot easier to move places. So I sort of blend those two together, and also a little bit of entrepreneurship as well. So I try to write a new post generally like once a week. Yeah.
And you also have a .com as well, right, man?
Yeah. It's right now it's sethbarham.com, and you'll see Spartan Wonder on there. You can just click on that. Yeah.
One of the things I think you like bring up, or at least talking about, because you feel it's important, is how to pack light. To travel the right way when you're out and about.
Definitely.
What are some things you'd want to bring up about that?
I think that if you want to be really comfortable when you travel, you shouldn't ever check a bag, because it's just a pain in the ass to have to go through everywhere. Like especially if you have a connection, like you have to go get it sometimes. Like China is one of the reasons why I don't really check a bag anymore, because pretty much everything there is chaotic, and the airports especially, and there's always a delay. Like I've missed maybe 2 connections because of delays since I've been in China, and they were both because I had to go get my bag that I checked, because for some reason they won't check it all the way through to your final destination. Like you have to get it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
And so both times, like I was late for my connection, and they wouldn't help me. Like I had to call Delta and like get them to like refund me the ticket. The Chinese airline wouldn't do it, and then I was just like, fuck this. I'm not gonna check a bag anymore. Yeah. So it's,
life told you to pack
light.
Yeah,
it's a life lesson. So. I just try to limit everything to one bag, and I just think that makes life a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
But really, back to that traditional Chinese massage torture.
Okay, yeah.
But also to bring up, man, you work for Amplifier, and you've been doing editorials for it, which is awesome. And I mean, you have so many of them posted on there, and it's a lot of good, interesting stuff to read. But like I said, for me, man, personally, this was a really interesting, amazing piece, and you have a way with words, man. And if you could just tell people about it, they could get online and they could definitely read this for themselves. But that was one that stood out. Can you talk a little bit about it?
It was an interesting experience. Like my friend Nick had been in China for like a crazy amount of time, like maybe 8 years, I think. And it's easy to get a massage in China. There's legitimate ones, some slightly seedier ones that you can go to, but
less legitimate.
Yeah, less legitimate, a little bit less legitimate. But if we're out drinking, sometimes we think, let's finish the night, let's get a massage, like just like a normal massage.
Not massaging quotes.
Normal massage.
They didn't put quotes up, guys.
Yeah. But so this is a common thing that we would do. We would get a massage, but my friend Nick told me, that you can get like a real traditional one if you want. And I was like, so what does that entail?
Yeah, what's real
what does that even mean? So we set aside a day where he took me to his friend who is a masseuse, and she does this as like sort of a medical practice type thing. You know, it's not just to blow off steam. Like it's to heal you.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, your opinion may vary whether that's actually gonna help you. Like if you've got if you've got cancer or something. But so I thought, you know, I'll give it a try. I'll try anything once. And so basically, the first thing that is strange that people might not know about is the cupping, where they have these glass cups, and they will basically like light a flame inside, so it sucks all the oxygen out, and then like put it on your back. So and they think that the pressure, like the vacuum that's in the cup, is sort of sucking out the toxins in your blood. Oh my God. So that's kind of a normal thing. Like you'll see people walking around with these like huge circular bruises like all the time because they got a massage.
So the more you have, the cooler you are. The better. Like, oh, he's got
that's a health freak.
Yeah, he's a health freak. Yeah, he cares about his body.
We got a health nut over here.
Body's a temple.
But so that's sort of the normal version of that. But the quote unquote real traditional thing that my friend was talking about is they will actually poke you with a needle a few times first. And
so
then
you actually bleed.
Yeah, so it's bleeding. It's like bloodletting, basically. Yeah. So they put you know, like 2 holes in my back and then like put the cups on, and like we took a video of this as well. So yeah, there's photos I think on the piece that I wrote, but we also made a video of it. And like when I saw the video, I was like disgusted of like what was happening to me. Like the blood just like kind of just like immediately just like started shooting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, into the cup. It wasn't really that painful.
But it just looks
at the time.
bad.
Yeah, it looks terrible though. So yeah, they did this bloodletting, and after that they also like put more cups on, and the worst part for me was they like sort of rake them across your back, like while they're like kind of suctioned onto your skin, so they're like going across your ribs, and I'm like a bony skinny guy, so I can feel each one.
Oh my God, man.
And that was painful. And the ending of the massage is she turned me over and she like asked me to spread my arms out, so like the inside of my elbow is like exposed to her. And she said, okay, like, we're going to get the bad things out of you pretty much. And she said this in Chinese. Yeah. And she just, you know, started like slapping the inside of my elbow. And the first 3 times or so, it was like just kind of surprising. Like I didn't really know what was happening.
Yeah.
And she did it for a good like 20 times. And by the end of it, I was like basically screaming and like telling her to stop because it's like a sensitive area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Slapping you raw.
Yeah, and you could start seeing like these little purple spots like forming, and she's like, okay, that's the bad stuff. It's coming up now. And I was like,
we're gonna go harder now.
Yeah. I was like, that's just like bruises that you're giving me. It's not bad stuff. That's what you did.
That's the bruises that's here. That's the bad stuff.
Yeah. So that after that was kind of like I think she saw that I had like enough humiliation, and that was the end of the massage. Yeah.
Is she still doing some torture massages as we know
she
right
is.
now? Excellent.
Yeah. If you're ever in Daqing, her name's Ren Ren.
And she's here for you.
She's here for you.
Does she have a Facebook?
She does not.
Next time. All right.
Yeah.
So, you guys have had plenty of crazy culture shock experiences traveling, as that story definitely lets us know. So, how has your perception of the U.S. changed? Being out of the country so much, being just in such a different culture for so long.
You want to take this one first?
Yeah. Just very briefly, I could say it's kind of shocking once you come back for the second or third time from being abroad and you feel less comfortable in your home country.
That's
like things are
true.
easy. It's easier to be functional. I feel like I can like take care of myself better in another country, and I come back here and I'm like helpless. I can't drive. I'm with my family. Yeah. And with people, it's different. I think for people in Asia, it's really easy to connect, but I have a lot of really close friends here that I keep in touch with, so it's always good to come back. But I feel like I'm like more and more disconnected from the U.S. to the point where I could just stay in Asia forever. So that's kind of weird. That transition is kind of strange.
Yeah,
how that happens.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first year you're abroad, you're like really excited to get home, and then after a couple of years, you lose that feeling. Yeah, it's just like, I'm back, it'll be cool, but you don't like look forward to it.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, cool, I'll be back for a little bit, but you're not like jumping.
It is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like reverse culture shock. That's that's what you're sort of getting into.
Yeah.
That is definitely a thing. Like every time I come back, it's just kind of weird. Like you feel, I don't know how to explain it really, like a fish out of water sort of, which makes you feel even weirder because it's supposed to be where you're from, and you're like, why do I feel weird?
I don't feel like I'm home where like my home was,
exactly.
Like what's going on?
Because like you start building a home abroad where you live. Like I love like coming home to see my friends and family, like seeing you guys. I always have to make a trip. But like at the same time, the people that are in China, they're the people that I see every day.
Right.
And I've seen every day for like 3 years. So it's weird, like coming home. And also just like you said, driving. Like I had a time driving in downtown Greensboro to get here, dude. Like,
I'm afraid to drive, and I did the scooter in Ho Chi Minh City, and that's terrifying. But to me, that feels normal. And having a car feels like I have less control over it, so I wouldn't drive here.
So you guys don't, I mean, aside from the scooter, you guys don't drive?
No, I would never drive.
No, I would never drive. Never drive in China. No way.
Too crazy?
Too crazy.
Stuff,
it is chaotic, man.
Yeah.
You've got to be watching what you're doing when you're crossing the street. Like, pedestrians have no rights whatsoever. You see like little like old grandmas just like sort of waiting across traffic, just kind of like stopping, waiting for a car, crossing the other lane, waiting for another car. No one's stopping for her. That's just kind of normal.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And in Vietnam, it's normal. When you walk across the street, you don't look. You just walk, and then it's everyone's responsibility to drive around you.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the one difference. Vietnam, the traffic is very, very different there. So you just have to like be brave and walk across. But if you hesitate or do something weird, it just
because you don't want to make the person driving at you second guess.
There's some traffic police in like tourist areas that kind of guide people and say you have to walk. You can't stop. You can't like freak out.
Just go.
Yeah, you just have to go. Just walk normally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chaos, truly.
When you guys are around like bars and downtown areas or areas where there's a lot of people and stuff, maybe even later night, I was really curious about police, like the authority out there in the areas you've been. Have you noticed? Because you obviously have seen things around here in the States are a little rough, a little scary, a little fucked up. So how has it been with authority and the police figures that you guys see driving around or whatnot? How is it compared?
What's the presence like?
That's a good question. Because like when I first went to China, we like anytime you hear press about China from American media, it's usually never good.
Right.
And I always thought of China like, well, it is a literal police state. It is a police state by the definition of it. But on the ground, like you barely see police like walking around. Like you'll see them driving and stuff, but I don't know exactly what they're doing because they never enforce traffic laws. But as far as like on the ground, walking around and stuff, I rarely see police. And China has like this sort of Wild West feeling where there's a lot of laws. I mean, it's like a bureaucratic nightmare like to do stuff there. There's a lot of laws on paper, but they're not really enforced at all. Like, of course, like, you can't murder someone or anything like that, but like
murder is still
murder is still
Sorry,
illegal.
right there.
But a good example would be like you can drink a beer on the street. You can walk down the street drinking a beer, no one cares. Like you could probably offer the police one and he'd drink it.
Wow.
But
hard day.
Yeah, exactly. But like petty things like that, like you're not going to get in trouble for it. Like I am more getting that sort of primal feel of like worry when I see an American cop car. You know what I mean? Like you see a cop car.
Oh,
You're not doing anything wrong, but like in the pit of your stomach, you're like, oh shit, there's a cop. Like what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
When you were younger, you felt like, at least for me, you'd see the police or the firemen and they'd be like, hey officer, thanks for protecting us, you're great, and he'd be hugging the kids and like, I'm protecting you. And now you're just terrified to be walking around at like 1 p.m. or 1 in the morning anytime around here because you just don't know what they're gonna say to you. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So in that regard, like I'm not worried at all when I see the police in China, which is sort of the opposite of what people might expect. Yeah.
I believe. I totally think that'd be the opposite. Yeah.
I'd say I feel a lot safer there too. I feel like crime, like China's one place where I can just walk around at 1 or 2 a.m. and like in a big city and not care.
No problem.
Police are good in Vietnam. The only problems I've had is there's people that pretend to be policemen and rob foreigners, but they go to like the tourist areas at 2 or 3 a.m. and they like sometimes they'll have a gun. They'll say a policeman and they're not. they'll mess with foreigners to get money. Like one time someone said I was speeding and I didn't have a license, which half the population of Vietnam doesn't have a license. But anyway, so he's like, $250 or I take your bike. So I'm just like, okay, take my bike. I know policemen, my friend's there. And then they just want money. They don't want to actually write a ticket because then they actually have to move your bike and do work and take it to the police station.
They actually have to do
something. So you just give them $5. And if you live there, you know that. So for me, if I break a traffic rule, if I'm speeding, I'm not going to pay for a license, whatever. If a cop stops me, it's just throw him $5. So I mean, their salaries are bad. I think it's cool. It's okay.
I can't believe you drive.
Yeah.
To be honest,
It's an act of
that's terrifying to me.
I rarely see wrecks there too. That's the crazy thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know, they have their equation worked out, however that is.
Yeah.
You know. So I want to ask. You know, U.S. is notorious for political craziness kind of occurring at all times, and you guys are very much seeing that from outside. You know, especially with this whole, the election going on right now, and past elections too. I mean, you guys have been gone for so long. I mean, what is that like culturally? How does the culture you're in view the kind of stuff that's going on here in the U.S. and how do you yourself, being outside of that culture, view it when you're over there living and you're like, oh, all this crazy shit's going on, like that's my home.
Okay.
Like,
you should start with the perspective from Europe, I think.
From Europe, yeah. Okay, so a good example would be my best friend in Daching. He's English, and so when this election cycle first, started up, and we'll use Trump as an example. Like, people didn't really take it that seriously. Like, he's a reality TV star, and then it got, it sort of accelerated a bit. And
say the least.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. And my friend messaged me, and like he sent me some sort of article. I can't remember what it was, but he messaged me and he's like, "What's happening in your country?" And being away for so long, I just had to tell him, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's been.
So people do notice. They're very much like,
yeah,
oh wow.
Yeah. They think that it's like insane. Like they can't believe that it's happening. Like literally, they can't believe it's happening.
We can't either.
Yeah. And I mean, it's hard to get into about like picking sides because like the especially the Europeans, like they're obviously like more left leaning, and they'll see like certain news stories coming out and they'll just like ask me like, what about this? Like, this stuff actually happened? And
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it does.
You read it right.
Yeah. Yeah. So from the European perspective, since, they're mostly, that's who my friends are in China. There are not so many Americans where I live in Daching.
Yeah.
So I mostly hang out with Europeans. So yeah, they are kind of like befuddled about what's going on here. And I honestly don't really know what to tell them a lot of the times, like being away for so long. Like I don't know how it's gotten the way it has.
Exactly. You can't really report to them with some stuff on it because you're just still blown away as well. You're like, I wish I could tell you.
You experienced any of that kind of that response in China? I mean, as a major world power that they are. I mean, is that making any kind of press or anything like that?
It's hard to say, like, because obviously the media is censored heavily there. Like, the average person is not going to see anything that the government doesn't want them to, and it really hinges on sort of like what a politician's attitude is toward like a situation like the South China Sea thing going on there. Like they're going to support who is going to be more hands off with what China is doing, to its neighbors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in that regard, they're sort of just looking out for, who's going to leave China alone pretty much. Like they don't like the buildup that's happening in like Korea, Japan, like U.S. bases and stuff appearing there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
What about you, Dylan?
Okay, Vietnam's interesting because after the war, there's no tension being an American living there, which is really shocking. They have half the population's under 30 years old, and they kind of forget the war. Economically, they're more like forward thinking, and they know like with the U.S. there's a lot of opportunity if they live over there or like cooperating in trade. So that's kind of all in the past. So they kind of actually look up to and praise America. I think there's a bit of like, maybe I talked to one of my good Vietnamese friends, and he's kind of describes it as like misplaced optimism for like America and Obama. They kind of look up to it too much. When Obama came to visit Vietnam, that was a huge deal. The TPP with Vietnam is huge. Also, Vietnam kind of prefers the USA because they'll side more with them in the South China Sea. They're America's kind of doing some stuff that China doesn't like as much, but that's kind of gaining the favor of Vietnam.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
That's how politics go.
How it works. Yeah,
Step on one person's foot, the other one's like,
take dice. I wanted to ask too, when I was bringing up about the police and everything, before I get into like cultural differences, you brought up alcohol and stuff. Do you notice a lot of people smoke cigarettes? Is marijuana a big thing there? Do they kind of like don't care like when it comes with authority?
What do you
like,
see there?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, cigarettes. I have a number. 68% of Chinese men smoke. 68%.
Wow. Oh my god.
Chinese women, it's like 3 or 4%. It's sort of like stigmatized, like, like a proper lady won't smoke or whatever. Yeah,
that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So anywhere you go, people are smoking, and pretty much everywhere you go, people are allowed to smoke inside. Which it can be if you like smoking, like
it's cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
And like I didn't really smoke cigarettes that much before I went to China. Like I would like have a cigar every now and then with my friend, or like maybe like do hookah or something like that.
Yeah.
Or if I'm drinking and someone offers, obviously I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. But it sort of like creeped into my life a lot more when I'm being surrounded by it constantly in China, and I realized that I like started smoking a lot more. So yeah, smoking is everywhere. Drinking in northern China, drinking is definitely a bigger thing than South China. I don't know if it's because it's just cold as fuck there and you have to stay indoors and there's nothing really to do except stay inside and drink. But they drink a lot. A lot of people can't really handle their alcohol well there. I've seen like a lot of brawls and stuff. But it's got a good bar culture. A lot of nightlife there. As far as like illegal stuff, there is weed and hash there, and it's like fairly easy to get if you choose to.
If you choose to find
it. If you choose to go that route.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to get, and it's very illegal. It's very illegal.
That's what I was curious about, to see really how the penalty was.
Yeah, it's very illegal, but most people don't really know what it is. Like the average person where I live do not really know what weed is. And you will see like my students, I've had like some 4 or 5 year olds on their clothes, like they have like a pot leaf like on their hat
they have no
or their shirt, and they have no idea.
I see that too.
Yeah, exactly. They have no idea what it means. So you've got that, and for the most part, if you're not an idiot, then like you're probably not going to get in trouble, but it is a risk. Like it is a risk.
Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
And people that sell it, you can get the death penalty pretty easily if you get caught selling drugs in China.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Holy crap.
Yeah, and that's like not lethal injection. That's a bullet to the back of your head, sort of.
Oh, like firing line kind of deal?
Not even a firing line. They put like a placard around you that has like your number. They take a photo of you wearing it, and then they. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cold-blooded.
That's what happens if you sell there. So, yeah. And the biggest drug in China right now is definitely meth. It is like hugely popular. I've seen it a lot of times, like especially if you go to KTVs, like karaoke places where you go singing, because you've got like private rooms.
Exactly.
There.
Yeah.
And
that's huge in that culture.
Yeah, it's very big, and that's where all the big wigs go, and like they'll smoke, they'll get girls to come in, like so. Meth is like hugely popular. It's a cheap drug there, and also you've got ketamine. Surprisingly, is like the next big player there. People are doing that all the time. So
holy crap. Yeah,
and you don't really hear that much about people getting caught, but it happens, and you're certainly taking a risk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You signed up for it at that point.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd say Vietnam, the smoking is really popular. It's kind of like smoking a cigarette and drinking coffee. That's the most popular thing to see. A lot of men smoke. I don't know percentage, but kind of feels the same as China.
Yeah.
And
Seth knew percentage.
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
So if you can
messed
next
that up.
time,
Yeah,
you're
come on,
here,
I'll
Dylan.
look it up.
Get
just
your
gonna make
facts,
another
Dylan.
note of that. Dylan wasn't prepared.
I was
Okay,
not
we're good. No, we're
prepared for the
fine.
interview. Yeah, beer consumption. Okay, I have a statistic. Vietnamese consume more in beer than Japan. If you look at the difference in incomes, like Vietnam has one of the lowest minimum wage, but they spend more on beer. So the drinking culture is definitely
Why do you think
there.
that is?
Yeah. Do you think there's a direct correlation there?
Yeah. So even though Vietnamese their salaries are low, they spend a lot more on beer. So.
And do you see any kind of like what he was talking about with like illegal substances?
Some, but it's kind of like
that?
there's areas where the police just kind of turn a blind eye, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. So people will be selling drugs on the street.
Wow.
The disappointing thing is there's like trafficking going there. Vietnamese told me that. That's kind of where someone's trafficking a kid. So it's kind of like the police just don't care. And sometimes you see them there, and there's people selling drugs on the street. But I mean, I care more about what happens to people. So there's trafficking going there.
Yeah,
sure.
obviously.
Yeah, and like they don't do that, and that. Yeah, my friend was just like shaking. Like I get so depressed just watching this and knowing
That's
it's
crazy,
happening.
man.
So there's just areas where
Holy
the police
shit.
just don't care. That's kind of like the backpack center of Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. It's a really dark place.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
kidding.
On that same thing with cultural differences, guys, food. We all love food.
Yeah.
Please talk to me how that was with like different types of plates and how your palates are
What was
after all
the
these
craziest
journeys.
thing you've
course,
tried or been shown? I mean, like you with the culture shock, there is certain shock of just like this is different. What's the stuff that was like way out there for you guys?
Okay. First of all, Chinese food is like super delicious. It's amazing. It's probably my favorite food. Like Chinese food.
Yeah, not
yeah.
down
It's
the
it's
street.
wildly it's pretty different from here. It's really varied. Like you could probably try to have a different dish like every day, like while you live there, and over a period of like 10 years or something, and you would never finish like the catalog of like Chinese cuisine because there's so many different regions.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
with like different specialties and stuff. But as far as like crazy stuff I've eaten, like organs and stuff, that's pretty popular there. Like tendon and stuff like that we wouldn't normally eat. Like that's really popular. Like if you go to a barbecue, like one of my favorite meals is to go to like one of the late night barbecues. It's called char, and it's kind of like shish kebab. Like you've got, pretty much meat on a stick, and you can get chicken hearts. You can get chicken legs, like feet. Chicken feet. You can get silkworms like on a stick, which they're actually not that bad. But they do not look good. Yeah, and then there's a lot of other like weird things like bugs and stuff you can get. Like some of them are not as bad as you would think. Others are just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, but I generally try to, if someone puts it in front of me, then I'm gonna at least try it. Yeah.
When in Rome.
Yeah, exactly. And I've found a lot of things I never thought that I would actually like that way. Like I'm a big fan of chicken hearts now. Like those are pretty good.
He's a fan.
Yeah.
But give me something that you definitely ate and you just threw up everywhere. Like, nope, I'm out. Like, there had to be something that really just made you go, nah, I'm down to try some stuff, but this, no, not again.
I think this time that we had a big banquet with my school, it was sort of like a company dinner type thing.
Okay.
Like at the end of the year, they always have these big banquets.
So it's just like a bunch of different food together, like
yeah, exactly. Like if you have a big banquet in China, it's usually these big round tables, and they've got like this glass thing in the middle called a lazy Susan that you can like spin around and sample like all
just
the dishes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you never get like your own plate of food there. You always share.
It's a shared.
You always share. And so they had a lot of sort of like organ type things, and one of the things they had was like a cow tail, like cow's tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Not the caramel one, right?
Not the caramel. I was going to say there's a candy that's called that.
Yeah, it's not that one. Not that one. But I tried to eat it, and oh man, it just like the texture is because it's not like really bony. It's like cartilage and
that would have done it for me. I would have done.
It's a mouthful of you don't want it.
Could you talk a little bit, because we've talked about this many times, the alcohol over in
Chinese
China?
alcohol.
Right. The very fun, different colors of.
There's a wide variety. So the most common is going to be baijiu, and this is it can be made from rice, and it can also be made from sorghum, and it's usually like 50% or higher by volume.
Oh.
And as soon as you open it, like you know what it is, like you can know what it is like across the room.
Is that
like,
what you brought over that
Yeah,
one time?
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a bottle sitting behind you.
Yeah.
Over in that bookshelf.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the bad stuff. Like, I've not had too many that I actually enjoyed drinking. Yeah, it's just utterly repulsive. Like you can just like feel it, like it's kind of a sickly heat, like all the way down. Like
you said they can use that as window cleaner too.
Yeah, you can. You can use it to clean anything you want.
Just drink it and just be like spraying it on the window.
Yeah, multitasking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So you've got baijiu, and then there's some other weirder ones like. I told you about the penis wine.
Right, yeah. That you were supposed to bring.
The 3 penis wine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't bring it.
We were here at Bandwidth. We were really excited about the penis wine.
We're gonna have a taste testing.
So, yeah.
Next time, I'll bring it next time. But yeah, you've got weird stuff like that. There's like snake bile alcohol, and then you've just got other random ones where you'll walk into a restaurant, there'll be a big glass thing of alcohol, and there's like some kind of animal just inside of it. Yeah,
like a cobra.
Yeah, like a cobra.
Like that. Yeah.
Just floating around.
Yeah, it's like a tiger.
Put a little cup out, just get the drink.
Yeah,
and
a tiger dick or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay, for crazy food, I'm thinking. So Vietnam and the villages, when they eat the meat, that's like every part. So I've like had head meat, the stomach, intestines,
nothing goes
brain.
wasted.
Yeah, nothing goes wasted. They eat dog in some parts of India, some parts of Vietnam. The worst thing I've had is cockroach. Just off the street of Bangkok, and actually like dry heaved, almost threw up when I ate it.
Cooked or anything?
No, just plain. Yeah, they had like ants. They had like ants and like leaves, and then just a cockroach. And just when the juice hit my throat, I gagged. So that's the worst thing. I mean, I've had scorpion. I like scorpion. It's kind of like beef jerky or something like that. Yeah.
So do you like the food of Vietnam?
Yeah, I love the food. Yeah, some of the crazy stuff is hit or miss, but yeah, just the general food, street food that you get is really good. There's really nice restaurants that are cheap. When you go to a Vietnamese restaurant, you just kind of go with a group of like 5 or 10 people, and you can just order everything and share it. Like vegetables, like a huge fish. There's like hot pot. It's really big in China too.
Yeah, hot pot.
So yeah, eating out is definitely one of the best things.
How's the alcohol culture there? Is there any kind of like branded stuff there, like he was saying?
There's like the rice wine. There's some type of like banana wine I've had, which is like really. It's dangerous to drink because it's so
sweet.
strong, but it's really sweet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mostly beer, just like average lager beers.
Oh, okay.
There,
So it's pretty.
Yeah.
What's the beer of Vietnam?
There's like this company called Sabico. It's like a Saigon. Saigon's one of the ones. They have a lot of Tiger. They have some Japanese beer there too.
Okay.
You can find Hoegaarden. Hoegaarden's like the nice.
Did you ever eat cat or dog? I can't remember.
Yeah, I had dog. Yeah.
How was that?
Pretty good. The way they cooked it in Vietnam was really good. Or no, the way they cooked it in India was really good, and then Vietnam was also.
It's one of those things that I haven't tried, but if someone puts it in front of me, I have to try.
Well, the way
it.
they
I'm not gonna
serve it in India, it's like on the side. It was like this kind of like this village place, and someone cooked a fire off the side of the small street, and they had dog meat, and you just pay for a cup.
Interesting.
Hey, it's express.
Get your cup of dog meat.
Yeah, really, a cup.
You got things to do. You want to get your dog meat quick, Where do you go? Man, it's so impressive. I mean, when you brought up how your parents have take you on vacations, and you go and you check out all these places, and you're like, well, they didn't know what this was going to do to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then to decide that you want to go out and move. A lot of people get caught up in their routines and get comfortable, and then if anything comes their way where they might have a chance to do something, it might sound really good to talk about, but then the anxiety could hold them back a lot. For anyone out there, man, that's going to be listening to this, and both you guys, like, I don't know you guys as well as Alec, but it's been like such a pleasure talking to you, and I have so much respect, and my eyes are just huge because I love listening to all this stuff that you've been doing, and it's incredible to me, like incredible. So what would you tell anyone that might be considering doing stuff like this and really want to explore but just don't have all the information yet? Where should they start?
Yeah, how can they start?
There's kind of like this false idea that it's hard to travel. It's like you have to have money. So I think if anyone wants to do it, just get a one-way ticket to Asia and you get a good teaching job. Some of my friends have worked in South Korea for 4 years. They paid off bills, traveled there, paid off all their loans from college,
Incredible.
bought a car, rode across the country, went to Japan.
Now, what's the requirements for teaching? If
Usually, you just have to have a university degree.
English.
Yeah. More importantly, be white and speak English. You can get jobs without a degree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't you forge your degree or something? Forge a document?
No, I never forged a document. But
Take it off the air.
We'll be
no,
right
there's
back.
actually there's streets in Bangkok where you can buy fake degrees on Khao San roads. You just go there and you buy like a fake certificate or fake degree. Most schools don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. If you, like you said earlier, if you have a pulse.
Yeah, if you have a pulse,
Yeah.
Keep the pulse going.
But like I think it's a big psychological thing as far as like how hard it seems to do, because it is like a big commitment and like a big move to like move across the country, and I think that's just like scary for a lot of people. And once they finally like take the plunge and like do it, then like it always gets easier.
It gets easier.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world is not as third world as America thinks.
Yeah,
there's a
it's
lot more like
definitely
creature
not.
comforts.
Right.
People always help you. Hospitals are good and very, very cheap compared to America.
That's-
Like,
I mean, you were
Awesome,
saying you get
man.
a 2-bedroom for what, $300?
Yeah, rent. That's like I rented a 2-bedroom house for $100 in Thailand. If I get really sick, like there was a time in India where I got really sick. I was throwing up blood. They hooked me up to an IV. I had a room, and like it was like $30-$40 for all the medicine, like treatment, everything. Yeah, IV. So
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
yeah.
The medicine is like, you can get a little worried sometimes, but generally it's not going to be like a nightmare like most people will think it is. And it's like so incredibly cheap. Like I had to get an MRI for my shoulder there, and I think it was like $100 compared to the average price being like $5,000 without insurance.
Easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a plus for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, in the your 20s, like I guess most people listening are in their 20s. That's the best time to like do risky stuff, travel, work for small companies, try something entrepreneurial. Even if you fail, it's not a big thing. And also, retiring in Asia, a lot of people do that too. If you're older and you want to like retire earlier, you can go there. Like 2-bedroom apartments in Vietnam can run under $50,000, and you can live there really cheaply. So you could retire earlier too. So
Yeah.
Wow.
So if anyone wants to do it, they should just, save a bit of money for your plane ticket. Like it's easy to find like job boards in Asia. Like what is the one in Thailand? Like
Ajarn.
Ajarn.
Agar.
Ajarn?
Yeah, Ajarn. Yeah.
Ajarn and China Cities is one. Just go look on the job boards, and there's so much there that you can do. Not just teaching either. Like, there's like American companies that have like a China office and they need people to go over there.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you're interested in doing, like Dylan said, like we're young, like you should just do it now before you regret it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're tied down.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, to end this beautiful, beautiful thing we have going here, and I'm gonna miss you. It's gonna be hard. I hope we can keep in touch.
It was fun.
Feelings mutual.
You guys are gonna be going back soon. What do you have lined up for when you guys get back? Like, you just gonna pick right back where you left off? Anything new and interesting that you're gonna be getting into when you get back to where you're living, or what's happening?
Well, the reason I even decided to stay in China, because like I was planning to leave, because like my girlfriend right now, she left China. She's got a problem with her back, and with the more serious things, it's not a good place to be to get medical care.
Yeah.
So she's in London, and I was going to start the visa process to actually start moving to London to be with her, but she took some time off because of her back, and I can't get a visa unless she's employed. It's like conditional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So combined with my school, at the last second they made like a huge offer to me to stay. Like they basically threw money at me, like trying to get me to stay. Like they want to open like a new branch of the school in a different district of the city. And they didn't want a new teacher to do it because it's only going to be like one teacher, one full-time teacher and one part-time, and they wanted me to be the full-time. So I'm going to be managing that place when I go back.
Dude, that's incredible. Are you stoked? Are you nervous? Are you all those things?
I'm pretty excited. Like I'm excited to be in a different part of the city.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the same place for like close to 3 years now, and it'll be good to see a different part of it.
Of course, taking a new spot. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so for me, I've been doing independent research outside of the office since last June, and things haven't been growing as fast as I want to, and I figured it's easy to work for a company. So I was like approaching a lot of funds trying to sell them research, but they want most of it in-house, and most people just would prefer to hire someone than to have like an independent consultant. So I'm going to apply for some jobs when I get back, like for an investment fund that focuses on Vietnam and Pakistan, and maybe a local brokerage in Vietnam.
Okay.
So I'll be in an office again for the first time in over a year, and kind of excited. Yeah.
Sell out. We got to sell out.
Well, guys, thank you very much for being here with us today and letting us pick your brains on traveling and stuff like that. It sounds super cool. So don't downplay what you're doing, because, I mean, it sounds courageous as hell, honestly.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
it's good to be
This
has
been Seth Barham and Dylan Waller. You can check out Seth's articles on his blog. You're at sethbarham.com right now, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to look for Spartan Wanderer.
Yeah.
And you can read. He also writes, he has written some articles for us on Amplifier that you can check out on the website. Dylan just travels and is a boss.
Yeah.
He'll disappear into the nether once he leaves again. But thank you guys very much for being here today, and thank you for listening to Bandwidth Episode 2.
We'll see you guys soon. Maybe there'll be an Episode 3. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.